you got to pay attention to Web3. You got to pay attention to how do we take these particular physical products and how do we make it and the brand itself kind of relevant in where the world is going next. Y'all know we have been talking about the metaverse and NFTs, and if you happen to be looking on YouTube, you may think that I like a lot of Jordans, and I may, shout out to all our listeners who are sneakerheads or recovering sneakerheads, because I want to say that I am a recovering one because I don't necessarily buy as much. But that's a different story for a different time, right? But it seems as if Jordan is getting into the Web3 and NFT world himself. All right, so Michael Jordan and his son Jeffery Jordan launched Heir Inc., an entertainment and tech venture geared around athletes. Startup plans NFT platforms for athletes raises 10.6 million round, led by Thrive Capital. Now, this is huge, okay? So for those who are like, what does that mean? What does that mean? So this is a community platform for athletes. So they're going to be selling limited seats to memberships. And then whoever has those gets access to digital assets. And we're seeing a lot of things like Nike just acquired like a digital sneaker. Like one of those, I forgot what it was, like RFKTs. Pardon me, I'll look it up once Moose starts talking. But digital assets are starting to be a really big thing. And then, of course, limited NFTs once you get these particular memberships. I think this is great because it shows that no matter what industry you're in, you got to pay attention to Web3. You got to pay attention to how do we take these particular physical products and how do we make it and the brand itself kind of relevant in where the world is going next. And we keep hearing about Web3. We keep hearing about metaverse and NFTs. And to get the top brands to be like, all right, I'm creating my own platform. I'm not going to, and that's another thing. I'm not going to piggyback off of other people's platforms. I'm going to create my own. We're going to call it Heir Inc., right? I think that's dope. I think it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's cool on many different levels, right? For one, we're seeing the introduction of Michael Jordan's son in this image, right? Which is like really a legacy move in a sense, because you're utilizing the talent of the younger generation who likely have the insight, the interest, and possibly even some relationships, and then just really leveraging the brand, of course, a historical brand and an icon in Michael Jordan, and convincing athletes to say, hey, come with us, right? Which is always something that when you think about competition, or shout out to CJ, who always talks about USPs or unique selling propositions. When you think about what's going to make you as an athlete, thinking of your future and your business and your money, not want to go with the obvious competitors. You talked about Rock Nation and Jay and his agency, LeBron, Rich Paul, and what those guys are doing over there. It's like, what's gonna be one of those compelling things to make you say, all right, I'm not gonna go down the obvious pathway. I'm gonna go somewhere else and possibly get an opportunity to add some longevity to my career. It's going to be Michael Jordan. That's a name that is obviously one of those names that'll make you stop in your tracks and make you reconsider, what your move is. So I think it's a great deal just for people who are thinking about how they're positioning in partnerships and business deals. That's a great move. And then they also have a very talented team. I mean, you got a marketing exec on that team. And then the other gentleman there too used to work with Steph Curry and helped launch his media company.
Yep.
So it's cool to see the talent across the board. Yeah, Jeffery Jordan is going to kind of lead out as that main name, but there are some other talented people on that panel as well, which is really cool.
Yeah, and this particular platform, which I like, is going to be built off the crypto coin Solana. So giving, for those people who are like, what does that even mean? Majority of these NFTs that we've seen that are super popular are on the Ethereum coin. And so I do like that influencers and influencing brands, I said that wrong, but you know what I mean, are finding different platforms, building their own platforms, and utilizing different coins to, even though Solana was making some waves already, having true competition in this, crypto world, I think is really interesting. Another person who's coming out with an NFT that I showed you on the 20th, so maybe by the time you hear this, you missed it, Steph Curry. And he just did something huge and is the best shooter ever, pretty much.
For sure.
And he's doing a 2,974 collection that pretty much highlights how many threes he's made. Mm-hmm. So I was looking into that, and it is it's not, how do I put this? Normally with crypto, you need to get a crypto wallet. He's now, once again, introducing a different way to obtain this NFT. It's a whole new platform. So I like how those people who are creating access tokens and platforms and different wallets are getting the athletes and high influencers to be like, look, this is great. You already know this is happening. You're going to do amazing things. Put a charity on top of it too, because I think he's giving this to charity, right? And make a bag, but this is the wave. So every single time you break a record or do something huge, and don't think about it from just an athlete standpoint. It could just be any type of milestone that people really celebrate. That could turn into an NFT, and people are going to want to be a part of it. I don't know if we covered it, but even things like the Thanksgiving parade, the New York Thanksgiving parade, Macy's one, that turned into an NFT. Any major events, any major accomplishments can be turned into digital memorabilia. Just think of it like that. Digital memorabilia that people are going to want to have ownership of. I think that's super dope. And it's like making me think for 2022, like what are some major events that we could capitalize on. I love what Toby did with his tour and dropping coins for each location, and having songs that are paired with it, I think it's just brilliant. And if you're not really educated on the metaverse and this whole Web3 situation, keep tuning in.
Stay locked in.
Yeah, stay locked in. We're going to give, I tell you, it seems like almost every podcast, I can't even talk, almost every podcast, we're talking about it. And it's just,
there's something new coming out.
Yeah, it's just what it is.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that utilizing the opportunity to give some of these things or donate to charity is a way that athletes and big name influencers are trying to get more people to get introduced to the metaverse and the NFT world, or maybe even lower their fear factor? Because it's like, if you think about it, if it's strictly an investment, you're likely to still be a little bit more hesitant unless you're a natural risk taker.
Yeah.
But does using the label 100% of proceeds go to charity automatically make you more susceptible to say, cool, let me try it out?
I think the charity move is more to get people to feel like it's not just a make money scheme. So we've mentioned that Gary Vee has dropped a collection earlier this year. He made $92 million. Now, some people don't want to make or more rich people richer.
Yeah.
So they could possibly pay certain amounts to local artists and people who are on the come up, but athletes and celebrities and things like that, we look at it, if there's no real true utility and any money going back to charity, that this is probably just another way for you to get money. And you're already rich. And so some people are hesitant. That's why they're now attaching charities to it, because it kind of lessens that, like, oh, I love to donate to charity. I think you're doing this for a good cause. It's not. It lowers that. What's the word? The skepticism. What's the word?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
a word.
cool.
Skepticism.
Okay, all right. It is what it is. But
We'll take it.
yeah. So I think that's what it does as far as the charity. Not necessarily to lower the barriers to make you feel comfortable to buy it. Just more of, you're not trying to get rich off this.
Yeah, well, I mean, I sent you that tweet that Adidas put out when they dropped their kind of NFT and had some technical issues.
Oh,
I just appreciated what they did, because they wanted to show that they're going to do right by the community. I think the big thing, and for those of you who are, again, getting introduced to this and learning more about it, we have to recognize that a big reason why it's gaining traction is because it is a very community-based initiative, meaning it's based around community. It's based around making sure that the artists continue to get compensated for their work over the long haul, especially when it increases in value. So seeing brands take a stance to show that out the gate, I think that's one of those things that we're going to look on 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now and say, oh, you know what? Yeah, no, they from day one have been real and have stayed true to the community, versus a brand or a company who was in it strictly for the money. And that too was obvious. So I just appreciated what they did. And like I said, that tweet was dope to see.
Yep. So stay tuned for more Web3 and Metaverse talk.